Well, good morning, Oj. Happy Sunday after Thanksgiving. And just to give you and our tens of fans a little update, today I'm currently wearing my Hurley shirt, just to kind of commemorate a Power T championship in the state finals yesterday. But today I'll be rocking my Hurley. I guess I can't call them the midgets anymore. Hey, the Hurley North Stars.
The 2020 Lakeland Conference champions.
That was the game that Hurley's coaches got quarantined, and Dave and I came out of retirement to go to Scotty.
Yeah.
For all my efforts, Scotty gave me a free T-shirt.
I forgot about that. How things going, Crouchy?
Things are good. Boy, did we get the snow. This is unreal out here. I'm going to have to shovel my deck off today. I got more hours on my snowblower now than I had last year.
Nothing worse than a 3-day storm over a holiday. You'll get one snow day out of this.
Yeah, and I don't know if we would have got it because it came in just so steady, but man, we got the snow out here.
No, you guys, it's totally different here than at the lake. And we've had blowing and drifting and stuff for 3 days, but you got a pile here in the outskirts of Lake Linden, that's for sure.
Well, let's talk a little Thanksgiving. How was your Thanksgiving out at the lake?
Cold and windy. It was fun though. Good to see. Trav came back up from St. Cloud, so we were with him for a few days. Actually, watched him go in the lake. The sauna on.
You know that boy ain't right.
Well, let me tell you this too. Let me just give you a little recap of that. So by the time we got organized to do this, it was dark out, and we go out there. Now this was Thanksgiving night, I believe. So we go out there, and I had to crank the steps down because I didn't have them completely folded over for the winter. Just in case. Yeah, exactly.
Just in case.
They were way up there, so I well, I'm going to go out. So I wrapped a towel on my head. Like a sheet.
I wish I had a picture of that.
Yeah.
You didn't have a chook?
Tried to tie it, and I didn't take a chook out there. I should have. So I had the towel wrapped over my head, threw Matt's flannel that he left in the change room over the top, pair of shoes on, and that was it. So I'm out there with the flashlight, cranking that thing down. So he gets out there. Now I'm holding the light at the top. It's getting a little chilly for the Twig and Berries and myself up there, standing here watching him, and he's taking forever.
No kidding.
Just like
he's taking
watching meat spaghetti. He's like I'm going, hurry up! I'm screaming at him, let's go! Holding that flashlight at the top of the steps, and he's claiming he was trying to catch his breath, but finally got in and then back to the sauna. So yeah, we did that.
He didn't pull one of those culverts on the water, did he?
No, those are still doing fine where they were rolled. So I'm just trying to get a little bit of credit myself for standing out there, and then had to crank the steps back up, of course.
Are they all the way up, or is there still a chance?
They are folded up now, so there's no chance of you and I going in the lake, even if you want to.
I don't think there was much chance of that at this point in our lives, but
yeah, great food, good dinner. That's Friday. We didn't do a whole lot though. Hung around. I got the bar pretty much all set up down there now. The new frames came in for my albums, so
I can hardly wait.
Yeah, it's I love the room. It's
for those who don't know, there's major renovations at Studio 2 right now that really look nice. For those of you who've been out there, Oj's wife is doing a heck of a job decorating that.
No, not that room. She did everything else, but she let the bar all up to me.
Oh boy. Did you watch football?
I watched.
Do you want to get into those games now, or should we wait till our NFL portion?
Well, which games? Are we going to go back to the Thanksgiving Day games?
Yeah.
Yeah, we might as well talk about it. What the heck? Let's go right through in order here. So Thanksgiving Day, that was a good day of wagering for me, by the way, too. All those teams covered.
They did. Eh?
Yeah, so I was good. Cowboys got another win, 2 in a row now. I've not put the license plate back on or anything, but. Won a couple games and showed a little bit of fight, although the Giants completely suck, so you can't wait too much into that. Packers look good. Miami can't handle the outdoors, and somehow, I mean, Detroit just keeps finding ways to win.
Oh no!
Remember how many years we went? I mean, with
first
the Lions?
Thanksgiving win in a long time for the old Lions.
God, and it ended up being the end of Coach Eberflus after that debacle at the end of the game. What's your thoughts on that?
Holy cow! We talked about the Hail Mary thing and that lack of organization there, but that's just inexcusable at any level.
He tried justifying it.
Yeah, I think he was trying to save his job, but man, that was like, you can't take a time out to your grave with you. He literally went to his grave, but I was watching a little bit of the preview show this morning, and Randy Moss went off about situational football. And I mean, you look at any level from high school to college to pro, like situations are things you got to at least be aware of. And that was a situation there that they didn't know what to do.
No, right?
Just take the time out.
You can tell the young quarterback wasn't coached up properly, how to handle that situation, looking around, waiting for somebody to make a decision, and next thing you know, they get nothing, so.
Yeah, that's inexcusable, and he is now looking for work. I did laugh, though, because you looked at the Lions, the Packers, and the Cowboys, right? 3 teams that we all have interest in the area, and all 3 of them won. And all 3 of them played rotten teams.
Yeah.
You can say how good Miami is. They cannot play in the cold. They don't want to play in the cold. And the Giant, who's the worst team in the league right now?
Well, one of the 2 from New York probably,
Oof.
or Carolina maybe right there with them. But yeah, the Giants, that was bad. They're down to their supposed 3rd string quarterback, but I don't care. Win's a win. And I'll say this too, Detroit, back on them a little bit, the Lions are banged up right now. Holy moly, have they lost some players defensively. But they keep getting it done. But man, oh man, they lost that Rodriguez now. What's his face? I think he's done for the year. I think the kid, no, I can't think of his name, with the longer hair for them.
No idea.
Linebacker. Jeez, Lion fans will be pissed I don't get this. I think he broke his hand. I think he'll be back. But yeah, they got a lot of injury issues there defensively. So we'll see what happens going forward with them.
And then right from the Thanksgiving scene, right into one of my favorite weekends in the whole year, and that's the Friday, Saturday, Sunday after Thanksgiving. I probably have sores on my backside from sitting in my chair so much watching between all of the high school games, the college games. I watched so much football this weekend. I need to get outside and get some fresh air at some point. But Michigan wrapped up its high school finals this weekend in Ford Field. Did you watch any of it?
I watched Beale City pretty much the whole game, and then just had it on the laptop because I can't get it on the TV now because I got YouTube TV.
Has nothing to do with it.
The hell it doesn't. I can't get Fox Detroit.
It's the NFSH app. That's where all the games are.
Yeah, but they used to be on Fox Sports Detroit.
Okay, but they're on the app that you can watch the high school games on?
Yeah, so I gotta watch it on a laptop.
You can put the app on your TV. I watched all of them on my TV.
You put the app on the TV.
Yes.
Well, I don't know how to do that.
I believe you. Well, maybe next time.
So I'm watching this kind of thing.
Oh,
So I can put the app to get those games right on my TV.
I have the app on my phone.
Oh, this is a hell of a time to inform me of that.
Yeah, I guess it's my fault for assuming you knew, but...
Well, I used to just go DirecTV, pop it on, there it was.
Yeah.
Watch the games.
You probably would have had to go off and shovel off your dish.
Okay, I'll just say this real quick. You got a better grip on it. I'll give you my quick rundown. Zealand West, I know you're pumped with their performance.
I do not have a Zealand West shirt yet, but I will be reaching out to Coach Shillito and I will be getting one because
That's a full house team.
That was unreal.
A little bit of midline out of there too.
They've been doing that for a while.
It was pretty impressive. A few of those midlines I saw, so that was interesting. Other than that, I guess the one downer was I never watched a 4th quarter game.
Yeah, these are the worst games as far as score and excitement goes that I've ever seen.
Who won? How did Division 1 go last night?
Division 1 was Cass Tech and Hudsonville, and again, Cass Tech is just playing a different game. Again, they have a freshman quarterback. They won by 3 scores. I quit watching it about halftime. Division 2, you had Orchard Lake St. Mary's playing Byron Center. Again, not much of a game. That was, again, turn that off. Division 3 is our Zealand West versus Martin Luther King game.
Mm-hmm.
For those of you who may not know, the coach at Zealand West is a friend of mine there. He's the guru of the Full House Tee. And they played Martin Luther King, who probably has guys that will be playing on Sunday or in Power 5 conferences. And Zealand West took them to the woodshed.
Yeah.
It wasn't even a fair fight. I don't know how many Zealand West players would have started for Martin Luther King, but Martin Luther King could not find the football, and Zealand West kids just get off the ball. The running back had 5 touchdowns in the first half and set the state record for 6.
Yeah, it was. I'll get into why I quit watching that game in a few minutes here. But yeah, what else? So then Beale City rolled.
Division 4, Goodrich over Niles. Again, horrible game. Just quit watching.
Oh, yep, I had that one on too.
And then the one that we had some interest in was Frankenmuth because He was
Yes.
pulling for Frankenmuth. They started off, they popped the midline early, and the quarterback, he was going down the field, went to switch the ball in his hands and fumbled it after about 40 yards, and then they got run over by Pontiac Notre Dame. Was really hoping to see that. Our friends from Lumen Christi,
Mm-hmm.
wow, Lansing Catholic. So usually don't pay attention because of the private schools, but the running back for Lumen Christi set the state record for yards in a game, over 300, and he had the record for 5 TDs. He's going to Central, and he was something else. Lumen Christi's classic, get off the ball and just beat the crap out of you. The other game of interest was Millington. We mentioned last week that Lenny Dantina out of Stevenson is one of their coaches there, and they rolled over Monroe St. Mary Catholic Central. That was cool to see. I was happy for those guys. And then the Division 8 game was Beale City over Ann Arbor Gabriel Richard, and that was a great game to watch. Not score-wise, but Beale City just came off the ball. Those guys from Gabriel Richard want nothing to do with physicality, and they ran right over the top of them. And as we know, Beale City had knocked off Iron Mountain a couple weeks ago. So,
Yeah, I mean that Iron Mountain probably gave them their best battle through the tournament.
well, in the semis they beat Fowler 17-16.
No, well,
So
second best.
those 3 teams all probably were better than Richard, I believe. But yeah, it was a good weekend to watch high school football. Not as great games. Like sometimes we've seen some dramatics, but and with those things on TV now, that's just fantastic for me.
Or the laptop, which is in my case.
Yeah, I'll have to show you how to do that at some point. Have you been following the Oklahoma High School Football Championships?
No.
You haven't? Oh, so you're unaware that Owasso knocked off Jenks in 3 overtimes in the semis the other day?
Fill me in.
You ever heard? Jenks is actually a pretty good power team. I've actually heard of them, but little Lake Linden flavor for our Owasso Rams.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Hudson and Case and Hodges. They're actually distant relatives of mine. Their grandmother is a Crouch, and their father's a few years younger than me in school here, and both of them play for Owasso. Hudson had a big interception in the first. I actually watched that game, went back and watched that one too, and he had an interception. So they'll be playing Bixby in the 6A state championship in Oklahoma at the end of the week.
Boy, oh boy, the Lake Linden ties just connect all over the country.
Yeah,
Unreal.
Well, when you have OCD watching football, these are the things you find out. But yeah, it was cool to see. The kid's grandmother she always sends me messages updating me on it. So I sat down and actually watched it. It was a pretty good game.
That leads us into
Is this one of the top 5 days?
Saturday.
Is this one of the top 5 days in your sporting life?
So obviously, and we talked a little bit about this last week. The game did not have the juice for us, for me certainly, but I'm guessing for you either, or you also. But it just didn't have it. Michigan had a rough year. They were hard to watch. The quarterback issues that we talked about all through the year. They settled into Davis Warren. Played their best game of the year against Northwestern the previous week, put up 50 points. But still, I woke up and I told Jen, I said, well, I'm not going to get all worked up over this game today.
How long did that last?
I just said, I can't do this again. The last 3 years have been embarrassing for anybody that's been involved or near me during that Ohio
3, probably more than that.
Yeah, well, these last 3 wins, I mean, it was... So I made a point to tone it down, try to mature a little bit, and I kicked back, had the recliner out, had the laptop going with a little high school football, and...
Okay, but see, now that's how you do that. You put it on the laptop while you're watching another game.
Well, that's what I did, yeah.
Okay, so you're not completely technology illiterate.
And then, at some point there, midway through that first quarter, there was a running play from the quarterback. He tried to scramble out the plot, not a running play. He was scrambling on a 3rd down, trying to get the first down, and Macari Page came up and just laid the frickin' shoulder into him, and down he goes. And all of a sudden, up Oj goes. The recliner was down, I'm on my feet. Then it was chaos in that house for the next. It was like all of a sudden we punched him, and oh my God, it was intense. It was... how the hell we won that game completing what we were 9? It was Davis Warren like 9 out of 16.
I thought he had like 35 or 45 yards.
I think he finished with 62.
62.
Yeah,
It's a good day in Lake Linden.
and 2 picks, and 2 picks.
And now second pick was
Oh
discussed.
my God, there's so many things to talk about in that game. But yeah, so first of all, let's go to that. I love the play call.
40 throwback on the tee. That's a tee play. 40 throwback.
And they were, as much as they were pounding that ball, I mean, didn't it seem like Michigan was 3rd and 8 the whole game? Like as soon as the game started, it was 3rd and 8. And they just keep ramming frickin' Mullings in there between the tackles, and he's leaping for, I mean, it seemed like the whole game. So at some point I thought, well, maybe, when is a good time for play action? And they got that 1st and goal, and everything's set up for him. He throws the pick. I mean, I just couldn't believe it.
And all he had to do was put a little air under it. The guy was running free. That's actually a great little play that we used to run for conversions a lot. But at that point, the good thing is they did not fold.
Yeah. So we'll go to Wink Martindale in a second, but the fact that Cheryl Moore was able to keep those guys focused after all that stuff and the negative plays, like that one could have been crushing right there. Mm-hmm. But that defense came out. I think Ohio State might have got a 1st down, but ended up forcing that punt, and then Mullings breaks off that on a 3rd down play. I think it was 3rd and short, wasn't it?
I'm sure it was 3rd down. I'm sure it was 3rd down.
But he goes 27 yards down the sideline to set up the field goal, and I don't know. I mean, unbelievable feeling.
Well, as we were bantering back and forth there, can you imagine if Warren would have rode the ball into Mullins on that goal line and then put it on his hip around the edge? He would have walked in. He would have walked in. But they did get that. I'm like, oh no, doink on the field goal. But
yeah, so our kicker hit a 54-yarder, and then the other one was a layup at the end, but you just don't know, right? And their kicker blew 2 of them that they were under 40 yards.
Yeah, they were makeable for sure.
So, the drive and the clock management and how you take care of things at the end was picture perfect for Michigan. Kicked the field goal. Ohio State was out of timeouts, and they never even completed a ball, I don't think, in that final drive to get their 4th win in a row. I don't know, this one, I say it every year, but this one ranks up there pretty good because of the fact that the year Michigan had.
And obviously there's going to be some fallout with Ryan Day in that, but my takeaway from this game was Ryan Day was sick and tired of being told that he can't beat Michigan. And Michigan's been this physical, dominant force the last few years, and he was going to try to beat them at their game. They have more receivers on their roster that are going to go to the NFL than Michigan will have for the next.
There's not one receiver that sees the field for Ohio State.
No,
not one Michigan receiver.
And instead of just going back and using those guys, he wanted to line up and punch Michigan in the mouth and beat them at their own game. And 77
yards rushing. That's what they had. And Michigan, Will Johnson wasn't even playing. The best corner in the country.
But here's where we talked about like Eberflus' bad game management. What is the one thing that has been constant for Michigan all year?
The quarterback play.
I mean, good, positive.
Oh, being able to grind out the football.
Yeah, and run defense, right? I mean,
and then defend the run, yeah.
Their best players, I think, are their
Mason Graham
their
and Kenneth
defensive line. So why would you try to go at their best players and not pick on their other corners with your stud receivers and such like that?
Over and over again.
Yeah, and I think his ego got in the way, and he wanted to say, we're going to just beat them at their own game. We're going to run over the top of them like they've done it to us. And as a result, they let Michigan hang around, and Michigan built some confidence, and now Ryan Day may be looking for a job.
Wow. First of all, Ohio State fans should be thanking their lucky stars that there's a 12-team playoff this year, because if there wasn't, that game would have knocked them out of the Final Four, and Ryan Day would be fired now.
He would have been fired by 5 o'clock last night.
So they still have a chance. They're still playing for something. They're going to get in that tournament. We'll get to that in a little bit here, but yeah. And Wink Martindale, to me, I mean, I'd love to hear his quotes on what he thought of coaching in that game. After all those years in the pros.
Like, this dummy's going to keep trying to run right at us?
Yeah, and that they just, all right, we're going to play off with our corners. We're going to give you some of those 7-8 yard plays. They're going to get a few. And they did early on. It was like kind of frustrating, the quick little pitch and catch stuff to the outside. But you will not run the ball on us. You are not going to run at or beat us on the ground. And they didn't. Michigan tackled well. They were more physical. And like you said, maybe stretch, get some plays on the edge, but you're not going to have continued success, consistent success, running at those 2D tackles in there. And yeah, it was just beautiful. And right up to the end of the game, put that flag down. I love it.
You want to get into this stuff?
Yeah.
That happened again last night in 2 other games.
The flag?
Yeah,
It's a novelty.
I get it, but first of all, are you able to plant a flag in a turf field?
No.
Okay, so, but yeah, and that's another, again, whatever, whether you think it's cool or you think it's foolish, whatever. Obviously Michigan and Ohio State, there's something that's going to brew up after that game, right? There always is, but.
Baker Mayfield, he was the first, wasn't he the one to plant the flag way back when?
And then it happened in Florida, Florida State, and North Carolina,
Yeah,
but whatever,
that stuff,
but.
I mean, the whole thing is, like Texas, they planted the flag on at Michigan this year when they beat Michigan. You know, I don't know, handle it. And
You lost the game, get off the field, regroup, don't acknowledge it.
of course, the fact that pepper spray and shit had to come up too,
Well,
that kind of elevated things a
But
little.
then another thing to make your boy Ryan Day look bad, did you see where he was in the middle of all this?
No, locker room.
Standing on the side, just watching, going.
Oh, he was.
You can see all these clips on social media. You're looking at one of his players, goes, "What happened?" You know, instead of getting out there and saying, "Hey, get in the locker room."
Yeah,
You know.
I mean I guess that's the frustrating part is the coaches weren't really able to diffuse that whole situation where the cops had to be out there and stuff. But I mean, I don't know. I loved it. I loved every second of that game. I was adrenaline rush for 3 hours afterwards for sure.
So
So,
were you? Are you a big fan of Gus Johnson these days?
oh yeah, what a puke. I never minded him.
What a puke! I love that line.
I never minded him before. I mean, he was always.
Who was he rooting for?
Oh, is it hard to tell?
Hard
How
to
about that? I sent you that one clip, right?
The interception.
The interception.
Oh, he almost cheered louder than the fans.
Unbelievable. And him and Platt, they had a little different take on that whole thing at the end of the game
Yeah.
too. You know, it's still not right. He was like, oh man, I'm done with him. I am done with Gus Johnson. He can.
I like that. I like the vindictive side of Oj. Yeah, probably one of the greatest wins in that rivalry ever.
Yep, that's 4 in a row now, and it's just going to be. It'll be interesting to see what happens. But like I said, Ryan Day's got to. At least he's going to be coaching here. I can't imagine they're going to can him before the tournament, right? What are they going
Here's a situation I was
to?
thinking.
Chip Kelly.
I think he goes with them, like, 'cause those boys, they're boys. What about what if Ohio State comes back and wins the national championship, and they got to look at that loss to Michigan? Yeah, I think he has to win the national title or he's gone.
And the fact that Ohio State spent all that money, the millions and millions of NIL money, to buy this team, and then bring in Chip Kelly. Ryan Day is going to take. He's going to be the offensive coordinator. This is what's going to be the difference. Get rid of the play calling duties. Give it to the great Chip Kelly. Spend our millions. Bring in this team to beat Michigan, and they scored 10 points and were shut out in the second half.
all those players they bought, what did they do yesterday? Block down field?
Yeah. Oh, man.
Yeah. Great win. Any other games of interest for you? Miami blew it yesterday.
Well, should we talk a little bit about the tournament right now?
Yeah, let's let her rip.
All right. So there's obviously nothing is out this Sunday morning. The rankings will be coming out whatever that Monday or Tuesday. So I went through. I saw a site that had projections on the top 15. So I guess no surprise that Oregon and Texas 1 and 2. This one had Penn State moving up to 3.
There's a fight in that game too at the end.
Maryland got pissed at Franklin for scoring one late.
Yeah, he was.
I read about it.
Again, it is what it is with that. You know, it's different from I think from high school to college. Like, and I'm kind of on Franklin's side on this one. You know, they scored at the end on Maryland's ones with their 3s and 4s, right? In this day of college football, your backups are playing.
Was that Franklin's line?
Yeah. You can't just run fullback dive into the line in college. When you still have to re-recruit your players. You got to keep your players there. They're your backups, but it's a whole different animal. Letting them play, do what you do is, I guess, the way I would see it. But yeah, there was a little altercation there not an altercation, just a disagreement between the coaches. But go on.
So Notre Dame was in at number 4. Georgia.
They look
holy
awful.
moly!
Awful.
8 overtimes to beat Georgia Tech.
Yeah, awful. And they're lucky to even get out of there with a close game because Georgia Tech played extremely well. I watched most of it. I didn't see 8 overtimes because that went into the ungodly hours past like 10 o'clock.
Yeah. So this one, the next 4 then has Georgia, Tennessee, SMU, and Ohio State.
Okay.
I guess we'll see. SMU is going to be playing Clemson, I believe, in their
I think so.
conference championship game.
Or did Clemson get beat? Yes, they got beat by South Carolina.
I believe they're in that.
Yeah,
Somehow they're in that game.
We'll have to see. I'm sure that'll come out today, tomorrow, Tuesday, whatever. But
And then it follows up with Indiana at 9, Boise 10, Alabama at 11, and Arizona State at 12. So this one has Bama getting in with their 3 losses in the top 12. The ones out, the first 3 out. And again, this is just rankings. South Carolina 9-3, Ole Miss 9-3, and then the loss we mentioned, Miami getting thumped by Syracuse. So they have the 10-2 Miami right out of the top 12. Which that was going to be the issue. You take a 2-loss team from that ACC, or sorry, ACC, or the 3-loss teams from that SEC, which Bama's in, South Carolina, Ole Miss out. But I mean, what's your thoughts on that list?
I have a hard time with the 3-loss team getting in. But if you look, if Miami and Alabama played, who would win?
I don't know right now. I mean, it's interesting.
Miami did not play well yesterday against Syracuse.
What was that? Bama won by a touchdown over Auburn, or 2?
Yeah, they
decent game.
I kind of saw the scores, didn't watch it, but I guess if you want the 12 best teams in there, I just don't know what to do with that. Again, I guess the Big Ten and the SEC are going to get the benefit of the doubt when you put the top 12 in.
Yeah, so you'll have Big Ten will have Oregon, Penn State, Ohio State, Indiana.
Not Indiana.
Indiana?
Oh yeah, Indiana. You see what they did yesterday?
Yeah, they put up 100.
Yeah, Purdue was struggling.
So, yeah, I guess, again, it's going to come down, there's still going to be some shake-ups with these conference championship games, but it'll be interesting going forward to see what happens with it.
Question on that for you. What if you got 2 teams that are in that top 12 right now, and they play in a conference championship game? Does the one who loses, are they automatically out?
I don't think they're automatically out.
But I mean, are they out?
What did you say? What did you say about Notre Dame? What's their issue?
I don't believe they can get a bye. They're not in a conference. The bye goes to the winners of the conference.
No matter what happens, Notre Dame will be
highest of 5.
Seed. Okay.
Right. But what if you got 2 teams that have 2 losses and they play in that conference title game, and the one who loses?
Well, who's playing in the SEC championship?
Georgia and Texas.
Well, there's one right there. I mean, if Texas beats Georgia, Georgia's a 3-loss team.
So are they in or are they out? Are they in right now?
They're according to this, they're going to be ranked 5th in the country.
So by playing that extra game, they're out. So, and I guess that's some of the bugs that'll have to be worked out, but it will make it exciting to watch. That's for sure.
A 3-loss Georgia team is going to be in before South Carolina and Ole Miss.
I would hope.
You know.
Although Georgia did not look good.
Although a loss like that's going to screw up teams like Alabama. Maybe drops them out too, if Georgia's going to get in ahead of them. But yeah, I don't know. That'll be interesting.
College football, GLIAC update. I watched a little bit of those games as well.
Holy moly.
Grand Valley hosted Harding.
In some weather.
Holy cow. It was like they played in my backyard. And Harding is really good. They just ran right over the top of Grand Valley. They got beat. And then Ferris hosted Central Oklahoma or something. And Central Oklahoma played well. They held Ferris to 78 points.
Yeah, I saw that. Unreal.
Yeah.
That'll be, I mean, Ferris, who's the other team there is that maybe Harding? No, they play next, eh?
Yeah, Ferris and Harding will play in Big Rapids. And I'll tell you what, and Harding is flex bone option.
Oh, really?
So weather, won't be as big of a factor, but obviously we'll throw our support behind Ferris, and hopefully the GLIAC can bring home a national title.
Yeah. We'll get into our picks.
Let's get into the NFL here, Oj.
Well,
big week last week.
Yeah, and so there was 2, and I like you mentioned that they were pushes, but in my mind, you covered these.
Yeah, we're not betting on this.
These
we're
are minus.
We're just picking the games.
You picked 2 games that were 3-point spreads. Both the Vikings and Philly were -3, and both of them won by 3. So in my mind, you get those. I don't know if that's going to be a push in DraftKings or whatever, but
yeah, this is just for fun. So we'll take the win.
You got them, and you also won with your Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So you had a 3-0 week to push your total to 20-12-1. However, the Red Hot Oj continued his stellar performance by going 3-0 also, and it wasn't even close. Green Bay -6, Detroit -7.5, and then Denver minus 5.5. So I am now 21, 11, and 1, which again means that people are paying attention and want to bet, we're making some money off us.
Yeah, but if you're actually betting on these, you're going to get pushes.
Well, you would on your team, but anyway. So let's get into this week. Let me pull up the old DraftKings site, see what we got.
So you get to go first still?
No, you can have it.
Okay. See, look, I even put some extras down in case, because there's not as many games this week with Thursday, Friday games. You know, they have those 4 other games, so
Right.
there's not as many to choose from. I'm going to take the Buccaneers. I got them this morning on ESPN at 6.5.
You're riding that flag planter Baker, aren't you?
Tampa's not a bad team. I got them at 6.5 over Carolina.
All right, I will give you the official spread. You are getting Tampa Bay minus 6.5.
All right.
Okay, I am going to. Wait, Pittsburgh Cincinnati's a big game today.
I know it is.
That'll be interesting.
It's on my list here.
Sorry for the dead air people, but it's the way it works.
Oj is not as prepared as he's been during the fall.
No, I'm going to go down to that 4 o'clock game. I'm going to take the Ravens. Philly's been playing well. Baltimore's at home. Ravens are minus 3. I think they can win that by a touchdown. So that's what I'm going to jump on right off the bat here. My first pick, Baltimore minus 3 against Philadelphia.
I think that's going to be a good game to watch.
Mm-hmm.
My second one, I'm going to take the Texans. I got them at 3.5 over Jacksonville.
That game I will not be watching, and you have Houston at minus 3.5.
Don't like the 3.5, but I just think the Texans are better.
Houston, I can't bet on Washington.
I love the stubbornness, Oj.
Yeah,
Love it.
I'm going to go to that 8 o'clock window here, and they're going to be playing some weather too, I believe, in Buffalo. Did you see that field?
Are you going to bet the under?
It's at 44 right now. We should.
That's going to be a 10-7 game.
That's the one issue I worry. But Buffalo's minus 6.5. I think they could win by 7. San Fran. It's a weather. Did you see the field?
I did. That's what, I was wondering if didn't they cancel a game out there last year? The year
I
before?
think so. Yeah.
Yeah, they got the loaders. I mean, they got a lot of snow out there.
Yeah, I'm gonna put a little star by that because I want to get that under 44.5.
Okay.
So I'm taking Buffalo. Yeah.
All right. The last one I'm going to take, and I don't like this matchup with the West Coast to the East Coast, but I'm going to take the Seahawks +1 at the Jets.
Yeah. That +1. Seattle +1. You got it at the Jets. I'm going to go down to Monday night. Denver -6 at home against Cleveland.
Okay.
So that wraps this week of.
What's your thoughts on that Steelers-Cincy game? If you had a fourth pick, who would you take in that game?
Pittsburgh is one of those teams that just keeps finding ways. It seems like Tomlin and those guys, they can ugly up a game. They make it. They turn the game into what they want. They play it by their rules, and next thing you know, they win 20-16, something like that. So Cincinnati's puts up numbers. Burrow has been outstanding, but they're not winning. Desperation time for them though. Any chance they got to get this game. So if I had to bet on it, I'd go with Cincinnati at -3.
I think I would take the Steelers.
That over-under is 46, by the way.
I think that game's going to be a 17-14 game. Steelers win, or it's going to be 28-10. Cincy. I think Cincy either scores a bunch of points, or like you said, Pittsburgh muddies it up. That's our football side of it. I do have an update. If you recall, back when we had Phil Milbrath on, we talked about his former coach and his illustrious golf game.
Oh yeah,
Remember this?
I saw that swing before.
How did you describe it?
I think it was just rage and anger or something like that.
Angry aggression?
Angry aggression, yeah. It was something to see.
So I have an update on Brad Gravold's golf game.
Has it improved?
Well, it does not sound like it. He was golfing the other day, and apparently he sculled one, and it bounced off a tire, and he lost the ball.
Bounced off a golf cart tire?
He was playing mini golf.
Putt-putt.
He was playing putt-putt.
And he lost his
He
ball.
lost his ball playing putt-putt. So I'm guessing angry aggression doesn't just go to the links, it also goes to the mini golf course.
That can't happen too often on a mini course, can it?
I can't imagine. I can't imagine.
Beautiful.
But he retired as a principal and is back coaching downstate, or down in Wisconsin again.
Oh, he is. He's coaching.
Yep, there's a good story behind there. I'll fill you in the sauna sometime.
Awesome. Speaking of sauna, Copper Country Sauna is the premier sauna builder in the Keweenaw, led by two brothers-in-law that share a passion for saunas and want to provide custom saunas to the Copper Country residents. When you're ready to throw some water on the rocks, visit our website at coppercountrysauna.com or give us a call at 906-281-9427.
Well, let's dive into a little Northern Arizona hoops update. A couple of games last week. There's a little tournament down in Houston.
Yeah, the Eastern Michigan game obviously frustrating on a few fronts for them. Turnovers just killed them. But they were buried for a while.
They dug themselves such a hole at the beginning of the game.
Yep, and that's been a couple times now. You know, they've had to fight and claw, and to their credit, they're getting back in these games and having a chance to win, which they did against. I think they took the lead. No, did they take the lead against Eastern?
I don't remember. I did not watch. I did re-up my ESPN Plus subscription to watch games like that. I do know they came back and battled. They dropped the game 72-68, but I think they were down 20 at one point.
Yeah, I think you're right. So that was frustrating, and then a fist fight in their next round game, and they did enough to come back and showed some guts there. Not only just to come back, but take the lead and hold on to it and win that game.
Yeah, they battled. They played. It must have been a little 14 tournament, and they played Houston Christian. And the next night there, or the day after, whatever it was, same thing. Dug themselves a hole. Did you see the end of that game? I actually watched it.
Just a clip.
So they were down, and Mr. NAU Trent McLaughlin hit a little step back three to give them a win right at the end of the game, 75-74. We'll have Coach Burkhart's interview with that in here coming up in a minute. But again, that kid has just been unreal.
Yeah, no doubt. He's we talked about that in the preseason interview with Coach Burkhart about the closers at the end of the game and who else might you look for to take those big shots. Well, it's keep it in that boy's hands because he's been getting it done for him.
And then we talked a little bit about how NAU had a big football game to win to get into the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
And they had a battle. I forget who. I think they were playing Eastern Washington. I actually watched a little bit of that game, believe it or not. And at the end of the game, there was a big interception by NAU by
Mr. McLaughlin's brother.
McLaughlin's brother.
Pretty decent athletes in that family.
Yeah, and then we, bantering with Coach Burkhardt, he said that the brother is in the Tigers organization.
Oh, wow.
So, big win there. They're going to be hitting that conference stretch here coming up. This week, they got a couple games. They're at Oral Roberts, and then they're home versus South Dakota.
Okay.
So, and then I said that the Big Sky Conference cranks up, but I was able to get Coach Burkhardt's post-game interview after the huge win at Houston Christian, so let's hear what he had to say. Oj, let's jump into a new part of our little podcast excursion here, and we talked a lot over the last year and a half, 2 years, whatever we've been doing this, about like our own Mount Rushmores and such like that. We spent some time, I don't know, was it last summer, talking about the numbers and sports numbers and who wears them.
Greeny's book.
Greeny's book. Well, did you see that he came out with another one?
Yeah, I'm not sure what it was called or what it is called, but look at that, you have it.
I do have it. It's called Got Your Answers, and it's a book based on some of the greatest arguments about top games, awards, players, things like that. So this would probably be a pretty good time for us to dive into that and kind of, we've been doing our own, we should probably write a book like this. Don't you think?
Well,
we should get our own book going like this. But, so we're going to kind of whenever we have some downtime, maybe not every week, but we'll kind of look at some of the lists that he has, and we'll kind of give our own 2 cents on that. And today, the topic is the most coveted trophies in sports.
Okay.
So let me just kind of give you what Greeny's is, and then you and I will kind of put together our own. Number 1 would be an Olympic medal, 2 a green jacket, 3 the Stanley Cup, 4 Heisman, 5 Tour de France yellow jersey, 6, a basketball net from the Final Four. 7, the Garland of Roses from the Kentucky Derby. 8, the Claret Jug British Open. 9, the WWE Championship belt. Or 10, a Gold Glove. What are you going to put at number 1 there? I'm kind of interested in this. I think I know where you would go. I think I could pick your top 3. But let's just give our top 3. We don't need to give our own top 10 here because I'm pretty sure neither one of us give a rip about a WWE Championship belt or the Claret Jug.
He doesn't even have the. Am I missing something with the Super Bowl not being on there? The Lombardi Trophy?
No, it's not on there. You can add your own.
Well, it certainly is going to beat out number 9 and number 10. I mean, the Gold Glove thing, that's cool and all. Brewers got 2 of them this year, but I mean, I don't really name a couple Gold Glovers. It's who cares, right?
I'm with you.
So that's gone. WWE is gone. The Claret Jug, we got too much. We got too much golf on there already. So let's wipe that out. Although there's a lot of tradition with that trophy.
Yeah.
So those are gone. We'll keep the green jacket on there, but that's not going at number 2. That's out of there. Garland of Roses for the Kentucky Derby. Gone. So that's out. Final Four, Tour de France. Are you kidding me?
Is that still a
Let's
thing?
see how much we can juice up and then ride a bike for a couple days. That's gone. Yeah, do they still do that?
I don't know.
Since there's a bunch of guys that need to pee in cups before they race. I mean, that whole thing's a mess. The Heisman, I don't know. That's kind of. I used to really get into that, but I'm not so much anymore. It's just doesn't have the same buzz for me. Stanley Cup. I mean, everybody around here, that's going to be the greatest thing in the world. To me, the Lombardi Trophy has got to be right there. What about Cy Young Award? Wouldn't that be more than the Cy Young Award should be there before the Gold Glove?
You can put your own. Your own. We're just looking for your top 3. And again, you could, disagree with Greeny and come up with Oj's top.
I don't like the Olympic medal either because you can get it for breakdancing now. Right? So it's maybe if you had a specific event. Stanley Cup's got to be in there. I wouldn't put it over the Lombardi Trophy. Those would be my top 2. And number 3, probably the Final Four. I think that's a cooler trophy or award than the NBA championship. Winning the Final Four. So I think I would go with those 3 in some type of order. Final Four, the Lombardi Trophy, and the Stanley Cup. I'll put those 3 my top 3.
Okay. I'm going to disagree with you, and I'm going to keep the Olympic medal right at the top, but I'm going to go with you. It's got to be in a real event.
Okay.
I think it would have to be like in track and field, like to be like on a relay team or something. I don't think I could win the gold medal in the javelin or synchronized shooting or whatever. But yeah, I think an Olympic medal for your country, probably in a relay. Some type of track and field thing would be good. A Heisman, I think is just one of those things that is one of those awards that just is going to stand the test of time. Even though it is, like I said, it's not as exciting as it was when we were younger, but it still has that luster. It's one of the top.
You're probably right on that. As far as you go to somebody's house, they were a Heisman Trophy winner. Yeah.
Is Reggie Bush got his back?
Yeah, no kidding.
But I think it's one of those things that's just an award that is just up there with some of the greatest.
Yeah, you're probably right.
And then the third.
But again, that's an individual compared to a team. There's a little bit of difference there. Go ahead.
And then I think probably my top 3. I could go with the Final Four net. I think that would be an awesome one. That'd be a cool thing to have hanging in your office, or that, or the Stanley Cup. Because think, the Stanley Cup, you get to do with that, hey?
Bring it home to your hometown.
Bring it home for a little while, and
yeah.
Can you imagine that thing rolling off the cliff like those culverts did?
That's interesting though. He's only got, as far as team sports in here, it's a Stanley Cup or team awards. Stanley Cup in the Final Four, if I'm seeing this right, correct?
Right, but
the rest are individual trophies.
They're just coveted trophies as the topic.
Yeah.
So that's ours for those ones. Next week we'll find something else to waste people's time on. But let's jump into the mailbag, Oj, and quite frankly, it's a little disappointing this week. We don't have many questions. We got some good ones from some faithful listeners, but I think some people probably had a little too much turkey and libations over the week and forgot about us. Are we becoming...
Speaking of that, I got my yearly physical tomorrow. What a perfect time to pick that, eh?
Oh, they got one coming up.
I gotta just tell her right when I walk in and say, all right, just so you know, the month of November for me is a tough one. So, I don't know if that skews the results of my blood work and everything, but just so you know. Anyway, well, give us the first one.
All right, we have a first-time question asker. This is Jenny from Bootjack,
Hey,
the other half of the power couple.
excellent.
She must be sick of listening to your music and sent a question in about her own thoughts.
Took 83 episodes, but we finally got her on
You
here.
broke her. You finally broke her. It says, name a song that was actually done better on the remake than the original. It's a good question.
It is. There should be some interesting feedback from some of our listeners on this too.
And I obviously am not a big music fan. You know what I do enjoy though? I do enjoy when I hear other artists play songs from previous artists, whether they remake it or they just play it. Sometimes I do like listening to some of those. Not a big... This isn't a real good question for me, but the one that just jumped out at me was Bobby McGee by Janis Joplin.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Was that Roger Miller?
It was written by Chris Christopherson.
Okay.
So
yeah, I think
he did a version that was just kind of Chris Christopherson, slow and with his voice. Roger Miller made a country hit out of it, but yeah, Janis Joplin took that song to a whole new level. So that's a pretty good one actually.
It's one of the ones that when it comes on the radio or whatever, you'll listen to it and you sing along with it. So I'm going to go with that one.
The one I thought of right away was being a fan of the Byrds. They brought, and Bob Dylan, the Byrds did their version of Mr. Tambourine Man. That was a Dylan song, and I think it was 10 times the song that Dylan, that his version. So I really love that one.
You want to know something funny?
Yeah.
That was my number 2.
Really?
Yeah.
That's odd.
Boy, you're rubbing off on me too.
Mr. Tambourine Man, yeah. So the Byrds version of the classic from Bob Dylan, and we got Jenny Bootjack's. She has 3 of them for us.
Really? She's kind of stacking the deck.
She
trying to
mentioned-
make us look bad.
Yeah.
Bring this podcast to an end.
The first one she mentions is Bonnie Raitt singing her version of John Prine's Montgomery. Jesus, no, I lost it. Angel from Montgomery. Oh my God.
How would you think that I would know that?
Sorry, I
You
think
looked
it's actually LTL too.
You looked at me like I would have a clue what that is.
So Bonnie Raitt, she did the Prine song. Angel from Montgomery was outstanding with it. Mumford and Sons doing the Boxer.
That's a good one. I get into the Mumford Sons sometimes.
Yeah,
They got a different sound.
they get a little annoying with the end. It's always faster at the end. Like you can tell what their songs are going to be. But they did a hell of a version of that. That's the Simon and Garfunkel.
Yep.
And then I don't even know who the hell this guy is, but it's another Bob Dylan song. Eddie Brickell.
Edie Brickell. Okay, that's a female, I believe.
Is it?
Edie?
Brickell?
Yeah.
Eddie, I had it as Eddie Brickell.
It's not Dirty Eddie.
I thought he was from down at the Zone. So Edie Brickell, Hard Rain Gonna Fall. That's a Bob Dylan classic. Or Eddie Brickell.
Yeah, you're looking at me like I have a clue. That was a good pull by... I hope it is Edie Brickell and I'm not wrong. But
Well, I don't know. Is that...
yeah,
Well, Eddie Brickell.
I'm guessing he's not on Oj's late night box set.
Oh, God. The one time she has a question. Anyway, we got... What's next on our list here?
Some good banter back and forth with David W. from the shores of the Menominee River, who apparently will not be living on the shores of the Menominee River much longer. Him and his beautiful wife will be moving to a new residence in the Kingsford area.
Oh,
I think we'll still call him that though.
might as well.
It's catchy to him, but back and forth, he's the one who filled us in on Brad Greenwald's golf game. But he said he was watching some football, and he said, "Crouchy, Sark is clearly your coaching double." And he sent me pictures of. Apparently, he was stalking me online, and
It's not bad. For those who don't know who Sark is, it'd be Steve Sarkisian, the coach of Texas.
yeah, so he was in a little doppelganger mood last night, which I got into. It was kind of fun. He said some other good ones too. He says, "If Oj has a double, who is it?" So that got me thinking. who in the coaching world would look like Oj? And you know which one came to mind right off the
Well,
bat?
everything, it's going to start with the bald head, I guess. We got
Yeah.
PJ Fleck.
OJ Fleck. No,
Oh, we're both in good shape. Bald.
he's a little snappier of a dresser than you are, though. But yeah, I would never do that to you. You know who I came up with? Sean McDermott from the Bills.
That's not bad.
Yeah.
Is he bald? He always wears a hat.
Well, so do you. Yeah, I think you would be Sean McDermott, and he had some other ones sent along the way. But I'm going to go with that. I would not do the OJ Fleck to you, although it was funny. That did bring a smile to my face.
Oh, I'd much rather take Sean McDermott than. Yeah, there you go.
Maybe we'll post those on the Twitter page sometime this week.
Bald with a hint of gray in the facial hair.
Yeah. And do you see what he was wearing in that picture?
Flannel?
A flannel.
Yeah, what else did he have? Give me some other. Come on.
He had a couple other ones.
That aren't too offensive to
Well,
anybody.
I thought they were good. He sent me a picture of Coach Crows paired up with Rick Majerus. Yeah, there was a couple other ones there. And then he sent one of his brother Brad Gravold.
Okay.
And he matched him up with that guy from Ted Lasso.
Yeah, he's also the Hangover guy. Right, isn't he?
No, I don't think so. I don't think so.
Jason.
No, I don't think that's him.
Isn't it?
No.
I'm not talking about Alan. I'm talking about the dentist.
I don't think so. I don't.
I'm sorry for the dead arrogant people who are going to figure this out.
Yeah.
Yeah, isn't he the dentist from Hangover?
He's Brad Gravold's doppelganger. But
Oh.
hey, thanks, David W. You can take this last one.
All right, this is Matt from Mohawk back again. He's been on the edge too of suspensions.
This one could go over.
Is Minnesota head football coach PJ Fleck? Here we go. Is his crowd surfing in the locker room after wins one of the best traditions in college football? Oh my God, he did it. They did it again. Of course, he doesn't just do it for winning the rivalry game, right? I mean, if they beat Mankato State, he's getting tossed around that locker room.
That's ridiculous.
I can't even watch that anymore.
Nope.
And like I said, how many times didn't you say something about him like making the guy like what does he have a rule about when he comes in the locker room?
They got a clap or something like that.
Yeah, there's some type of applause or something that has to be done when he enters the locker room.
And then if they don't do it well enough, he goes out and comes back in. So yeah, something like that. I forget the details on that. Did you see him on the sideline the other day?
Oh yeah, nice bright yellow 3/4 zip with a maroon tie, white shirt, shades, maroon pants.
The bright like red reflective shades.
Yeah, and then he wins and gets tossed around the locker room by great tradition. Right there with planting the Michigan flag in the middle of the horseshoe. Yeah, I don't know. Well, thanks for getting in touch with us, Matt from Mohawk.
Yeah.
That's actually probably a better. No, it's not a better question. He's had some rotten ones.
I think what he's doing is sending in these questions just to get our dander up. You think?
Could be.
It would have been funny if I would have went with OJ Fleck, and maybe next time we do a podcast party, we could have you crowd surf with
Oh God.
No? Alright, well thanks to our fans for sending in some questions. Located 8 miles south of Lake Linden on the Bojack Road, the Dreamland Restaurant is your choice for great dining, family owned and operated for over 100 years. Whether you're in the mood for the Mexican Monday specials, burgers, pizza, or Friday fish fry, Dreamland is your next stop. Now, the Blue Notebook has been pulled out. The Thanksgiving edition of LTL is now upon us.
Alright, so a number of weeks ago, I introduced Blaze Foley to the pod. You remember that?
I do remember that.
Okay. Talked about all of his issues, and I rambled on about him for a while, and then played his classic song, Clay Pigeons, that was sung by the Abbott Brothers. And John Prine made a hit out of that, a few others have done it. So this week I thought I'd give you another one of Blaze's songs, and I want Brad from Kiuna Autobody to pay attention to this, close attention to this, because I think this is one that...
You listening, Brad?
Yeah, this might be should be on the Wingnuts, spitting this out on their set list. But both Merle and Willie recorded their version of this song, and I hope it makes their list. I think Brad will do a great job with this. Anyway, Blaze wrote the song "If I Could Only Fly," and it seems to be about a feeling of helplessness and wanting or wishing to be with someone. The lyrics seem to move to feelings of having messed up one's life so badly it seems impossible to fix. Merle's version is probably the best, and it kind of takes on a little different meaning than the original by Blaze. But you are going to get the Blaze Foley edition, the original, him singing his song, the Duct Tape Messiah singing his song, "If I Could Only Fly." Do you do this after? So I can say was or is. You do it first?
I'll put this in after. I'll put the song going and then this.
Alright.
Ready?
Yep. Listen to the Lyrics was brought to you by Keweenaw Auto Body, located on Pine Street in Calumet, and they're your choice for quality collision and body repair since 1966. They are open 8 to 5 Monday through Friday and 8 to 12 on Saturday. Give them a call at 906-337-1203.
And that's going to wrap up episode 83 on this very snowy Sunday morning. Back to a little hiatus this weekend, so we got back to the grind on Monday.
The real life schedule again. Yeah, it was a nice break, but get after it tomorrow, see how that physical turns out.
Holy cow. Holy cow. Are they gonna are you gonna get yelled at? Like, will they say you need to make some life changes?
I doubt it.
Are they just giving up on you?
High school sports, we'll probably touch on that a little bit next week too. I see Cal hockey team, they took care of business with the Copper Island Classic.
And there was a couple boys basketball games last week.
Yeah, I think just real quick with that, I think it looks like Holton's probably pretty solid. Coach Lawson got a crew down there, some pieces of as far as players go that look to be one of the best teams in the area anyway.
Yeah.
Like to say, I can probably get to see Cal this week. So girls' season starts this week as well, correct?
I believe so. It's coming up quick, so and that'll make winter go by faster for the basketball fans because every night you can watch games.
Yeah, for sure.
And you can watch it on that NFHS app that you put on your TV, so you don't even have to go to the gym.
Anyway.
All right, guys. Happy Thanksgiving. I'll see you later, Oj.
Talk to you later, Crouchy.